The Stafford Indians versus the Phoebus Phantoms. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. We welcome you to the University of Richmond Football Stadium for today's contest, the championship in Division 5 Group AAA between the Phoebus Phantoms, the reigning state champions, with a perfect 13-0 record, taking on the Stafford Indians with an 11-2 record. And Bob, on paper, this game looks to pit teams that are very similar in the way they run their attacks, but there's some differences that I think may tell the outcome of this ball game.
Well, and I think the differences you're going to find is going to be at the offensive defensive line, but you're quite correct in your analysis of the two teams. They both are good. Both teams will run the ball more than they will pass, although Phoebus, I think, has got a better pass and attack than the Indians do. But you'll look at the Indians, they're going to come out in a basic 5-2 with a 3 cover, and then they'll occasionally will jump into a 6-2 and almost an 8-man gap, especially if it's short yardage or goal line situation. But they're not real big, but they do have a couple of big players. They've got a couple guys 6'5", 290, 260 in that neighborhood. But I don't know that they're as fundamentally as sound as the Phoebus Phantoms, and of course, Tim, winning the first time in a playoff situation, they get to the playoffs for the first time. Phoebus has got a lot of experience in that.
Well, we talked about it last week. I don't know what amount of a factor it resulted in the South Lakes game. Everyone knows that game was won handily by the Phantoms, 55-0. The Stafford team, 11-2. They didn't shut out any opponents, so they obviously don't have nearly as strong a defense as the Phantoms. They do have, if he's well, they have one of the best running backs, if not the premier running back in the state, in Tim McClellan. But when I say if he's well, the problem is he was hurt last week, and there's differing opinions as to where he was hurt and how severely he was hurt. We've been looking for him during the warm-ups and have not seen him on the field. So if he doesn't go, this game is going to be a very difficult game for Stafford to win under any circumstance.
Well, it sure is, Tim, because he's over 2,300 yards, and that's not a season. That's a career in high school for some running back. So, but they're going to do a lot of gimmicks. Coach Pierce is, if nothing else, he's a little unorthodox in his approach to the game. He'll always run an unbalanced line and unbalanced to the right, but he's a left-handed team, Tim. That means he'll run to the nub side or to the short side of the formation. Occasionally he'll put 2 backs over there and try to do a quick pitch and just outman you on that short side. But they will do things like a swinging gate in the point after, where everybody's on one side of the field except for the holder, the kicker, and the center. And the center becomes an eligible receiver in that situation. When they kick off, they're going to put 8 men behind and in close proximity to the kicker, and then they're going to put the 2 fastest guys on the left-hand side of the field. They'll kick from the right hash mark at an angle, and they'll either kick it long, they'll pooch it, or they'll onside kick. So you got to be aware of all the gimmicks and everything that you can do that is different in today's game if you're Phoebus.
Well, but I got to tell you, though, if I have my choice between picking a team that has a lot of gimmicks and doesn't have an experience of being in this particular situation, or I got a team that's fundamentally rock solid on both offense and defense,
I wonder who you go with. Huh?
Well, time will tell, and certainly no one on the Phoebus side of the field should take this game lightly going into this contest, because that's how you find yourself looking at the score box the next day and saying, what did we do?
What happened?
How'd that happen?
Yeah.
So, I don't think for a minute Bill D and his coaching staff have let his team think for a minute that this is a cakewalk, because it won't be, regardless of whether McClellan plays or not. Let's talk very briefly about McClellan, this young man. He's part of a wing T offense, and this is something that a lot of schools never see or very rarely see. So this can be a difficult problem for a defense that's not used to it.
Well, but the Phantoms have seen the wing T this year, so it's not brand new to them. But you're right. There's a lot of motion, a lot of misdirection in the backfield. They'll run a fullback trap when you looks like that's the same play they run when they run the tailback. So they've got a lot of things that they try to make your your linebackers make a step in the wrong direction, which gives the lineman then a better angle to block you at. So that's the whole theory behind that offense. But very successful. You don't make it to this far in the season if you haven't been successful with it.
No question about it. Right now we're going to go back in time. Bob had a chance a little earlier to have a conversation with head coach Roger Pierce of the Stafford Indians.
Coach, first of all, congratulations. Fine season. I know the young men and your coach is really excited about making it to the state championship.
Sure. We're just happy to be here and hope to give Phoebus a good game today.
Well, I know your young man has got, Tim McClellan's got a high ankle sprain or bruise, but for a young man to run 2,300 yards plus, that's a career for a lot of people in high school.
Sure. You know, he only had 100 yards last year all season for us, and this year he worked hard and got in the weight room, and, you know, he's a guy that we got to have do real well today in order to have a chance against Phoebus.
Now, you know, you don't get that kind of yards without a good offensive line, so evidently you got some kids up there that are doing a real good job for you.
Sure, I think our offensive line does a good job along with the other backs. We understand the roles, and you know, the other guys that get in front of Thomas do a job of blocking, and Thomas' job is to run hard and get what he can get.
What do you look for Phoebus today?
Phoebus is very talented. Lots of speed, they got good strength, they're well coached. You know, we got to do a little bit of everything. They can pass the ball well, they can run the ball well. You know, they're real good special teams, so we got to cover all our bases today.
Well, good luck to you, Coach, and congratulations again on making it to the finals.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Good. Let's go back up to Tim.
All right. Thank you. And, of course, Roger Pierce, those of you are maybe wondering, gee, he looks familiar. If you didn't, in fact, get a chance to mention the fact that he was a coach at Heritage. And so he is relatively new to Stafford, but he was on the peninsula with Heritage and did a fine job over there.
What you're saying is he's familiar with peninsula football, right?
Yes, he should be. And he did a great job at Heritage. Phoebus, coming into this game, is looking at doing something that statistically hasn't been all that often accomplished, and that is only 4 teams in the last 50 years have been back-to-back winners of the championship in football. So the odds of them repeating, statistically at least, are not particularly good. But we know that Bill D doesn't look at odds or statistics. He has a team that we've talked about. We're talking about DJ Parker. You got Elon Lewis, who has just had a phenomenal season, 1,600 yards. You got Maurice Boone. I could go on and on about the offense, and I'll let you talk a little bit about it as well, Bob.
I appreciate that.
You want to get your little airtime.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I look at, you got to go back to DJ Parker, a young man that was not a quarterback, was asked to play quarterback, stepped in that position, and has just done a super job. But he's got such good skilled people. You got a DB to run the fullback, Lewis, as you said, in the tailback. But then Phillip Brown, he can run tailback. He can run a quarterback. He's a backup quarterback. He's a split receiver. He plays defense. He intercepts the ball. He runs back punts. This young man can do just about everything you need to do. But you've got some young men that play on defense on the other side that just as good. Manny Anderson comes around. Janason Jenkins.
How do you pronounce that again?
Janason.
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
I had a nightmare the other night that I got to the game and I mispronounced it one more time.
Only one more time. Well, that's not too bad. But you look at the team as a whole, Tim, and they are so solid offensively and defensively. There's not many places that you can exploit a weakness, and that's one of the reasons I think that we're going to see about every gimmick play that Roger Pierce has in his arsenal, because you know if we're going to score, that's how we're going to score against the Phantoms.
My lead into your conversation with Bill D is the fact that in the last 10 years, Peninsula teams have won 7 out of 8 of the 10 times. During the last 10 years, there have been 8 times Peninsula teams have been involved in the championship. They've won 7 and lost 1, and the average margin of victory has been better than 34 points a game. So
let me give you a statistic that very few people know unless you read some national magazines. And I had a friend of mine call me from North Carolina, and he's with the coaches that are doing a lot of scouting, and he says the number 1 place to scout in the United States is all of California. The number 2 is the whole state of Florida. The number 3 is the Tidewater area of Virginia. Now, you look at who has come from this area. Boy, you can understand why.
Sure.
You know, we can understand why this place is infatuated with all the coaches from the big schools, because this is where some tremendous athletes come from.
No question about it. Let's go back in time one more time for this season. Bob had a chance to talk earlier with head coach Bill D. of the Phoebus Phantoms.
First of all, Bill, congratulations getting to state finals. I know it's hats off to the players and the coaches.
I appreciate it, Bob. It's a lot of work, and it's coaches and the kids, and it's a team effort. It's a great feeling to get here, but now we want to win it.
One of the things that everybody read in the paper this morning about everybody healthy, that's good. But what a nice article about Greg Day and the weight room and this sort of thing that helps your team.
Yeah, that's a lot of the stuff that goes unseen all year round, and all the coaches are in that weight room, and Greg's he's the guy that keeps everybody going in there, including us. So, but it's a lot of that hard work.
First of all, you and I had talked earlier. This coach is a little unconventional, and he does a few things different. Unbalanced line, swinging gait, runs to the nub a lot. Funny setup on special teams when he's kicking off. Any little adjustments you've made?
Well, we try not to change things too much. We're going to play our base defense. It's just, we have to shift certain directions, and we made a few adjustments. And of course, you got to be ready for almost anything when you're playing them. They run a little bit of almost any gadget play you can imagine. So, but it's just all really. I think it all comes down to blocking and tackling, no matter what you do. So, that's we got a great week of practice. It was just a great week for this late in the year to have those kids come out and practice as hard as they did this week. It was just a great to be out there this week.
Well, we've talked. Tim and I have talked over many times during the whole year how well fundamentally your kids do, and I know it has a lot to do with the coaches, but it also is the dedication of the players.
Yeah, it's every once in a while, like in the first playoff game, I thought some of our technique and our fundamentals, and we had to go right back to the basics and get better on them, and I've seen this get better the last couple of weeks.
Well, that's always good to hear.
Yeah.
Again, good luck to you this afternoon, and we'll see you after the game.
Appreciate it.
Good enough. All right, let's stay tuned. Going up to Tim, we're going to get today's sponsors.
Zooms with 14 friendly neighborhood stores to serve you. He was brought to you by Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. In part by Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. Give them a call at 825-1416. And in part by Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home, located at Hampton Center Parkway at Armstead Avenue in Hampton. Back here at University of Richmond Stadium, the pregame ceremony is taking place. We want to advise you that unfortunately, because of radio interference, we're unable to have a microphone on the referee today. So unfortunately, we will not be able to hear his commentary. The Phantoms did win the toss, and they will receive, as you've seen on your screen. They are in the blue pants with the gold jerseys and gold helmets. Your officials for today, Jim Creasy is your referee. Your umpire is David Bohen. A.G. Moore is the head linesman. Al Elmore is the line judge. The field judge is Matt Overton, and Dan Denton is the side judge. But Jim Creasy is your umpire, is your referee rep.
Okay. So Phoebus is going to start off with the offense.
And here are the starters on offense for the Phoebus Phantoms.
Junior. Xavier Little, Junior.
Wes King, Senior.
Justin Chetney,
Senior.
Jason Bowles, Senior. Matt Wright, Freshman. Darnell Allen, Senior. Phillip Brown, Senior. DJ Parker, Senior.
Xavier Deeby, Senior.
Eden Lewis, Sophomore.
Well, until you get to Elon Lewis, you're starting senior. And that's what you want in this kind of game is your senior leadership.
There's 7 seniors on that starting thing. Tim, we will pick a player of the game from the Phantoms today. In fact, we'll pick 2, and that player will receive a plaque, actually a trophy and a shirt. The trophy comes from the Trophy World, located in the historic Hilton Village in Newport News. For all your recognition and award needs, trophies, plaques, and custom engraving, contact Bob Hilling at Trophy World at 595-7354. Mention this announcement and get special pricing. The shirt comes from Tidewater Team Sports, your one-stop sports headquarters for screen printing, embroidery, uniforms, and apparel. Call 594-0411. Talk to Dave Chubb, Terry McNamara.
All right, we're just about set to get underway. We will show you the starters for Stafford as well. But we'll do that, we'll do it right after the kickoff. The kicker for Stafford has some very strong statistics. 9 field goals, this young man, Ray Dam. I get it right. Ray Dam is his name. I knew I was going to mess that up.
Well, what was Jenkins' first name?
Janason.
All right.
I got it.
And if you look what Phoebus has got, Tim, they've got an all-hands receiving units, not the normal receiving up there, because watch the way that they are going to spread out. They're doing a little different than they have in the past, but they've got everybody spread out. Let's see what the kicker does.
And we are underway from the University of Richmond Stadium. This is a deep kick taken at the 5-yard line by Philip Brown. Brown has some running room up the middle. He's still going. He trips over a player at the 40-yard line, but gives his team a great field position at the 45. And now here are the starters on defense for the Stafford Indians.
Trey Dagger, sophomore. John Bradshaw, junior. Trey Champs, senior. Chris Hoddle, senior. Nick Cologne, senior. Chris Collins, senior. Tim Sullivan, senior. Darren Burton, junior. Kevin Sullivan, senior. Kenny Haynes, senior. Thomas McClellan, senior.
And while you were watching the last of that, we did have a play run. We'll get a chance to see it, and here is that replay. This is Lewis taking the first handoff of the ball game, picks up 4 yards to the 49-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and 6 for the Phantoms.
Yeah, somebody just got a hand on his ankle, or he would have picked up a lot of yardage. And you can see in their basic 5-2.
This is Lewis on the pitch. He's got the corner. He has the first down, and he is pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line, but that'll be more than enough for a first down, a gain of about 11 yards.
Tim, they had a lot of people out in front of him that time. It looked like student body right. Watch this thing. He's got a lot of blockers in front of him.
We want to make the fans aware of this, and I'm sure that most of them do know this. We are in twilight zone here as we are going to the dark from the day, so we're going to be adjusting our cameras as we go along. The lights are on here at the stadium, but from time to time we will be trying to get a better picture for you as we go along. I think right now we've got a good-looking shot of Elon Lewis picking up about 8 yards.
Tell you, he's amazing, Tim.
Just a sophomore.
Zooms has given an award to the senior player on each of the football teams in Hampton this year who has demonstrated academic excellence. These players be awarded plaques at a school board meeting after the season. We'd like to thank David Allen and Zooms for the continued support for WHCS and our student athletes.
Gain of 7 on the play. This is Xavier Adibi as he grinds out the yardage and gets the first down.
Hey, you need 2 or 3 yards. Give it to the hoss.
Well, this is an instant replay of last year here at this very stadium. Watch the replay this year. This is Adibi, and look at him just follow the blocking of that big offensive line, and he does pick up a first down at the Stafford 27-yard line. So the Phantoms have the opening kickoff. They've had it for a minute and a half and have moved all the way down to the 27. This is Lewis, and Lewis is slowed down but still picks up yardage to about the 23 or 24-yard line.
One thing that the Stafford Indians will do on defense, Tim, they'll give a big cushion to the wide receivers. If you watch next time Brown lines up outside and split in, the defensive back is a good 10, at least 10 yards off of him, so give him a big cushion.
Phoebus quickly to the line. Lewis running room right side, inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line. It'll be close to a first down depending on the spot. Looks like he will be about a yard short. So it'll bring up 3rd down and 1. Phoebus is taking no time in the huddle.
They're ready to go. They know what they want to run, and the kids are anxious to go. And now you've got a short yardage. You look for the big guy to get it, but no, DJ says, I'll take it and pick up the first down.
And he does, as they will stop the clock, move the chains, and with 9:26 left in the first quarter, Phoebus with a first down inside the 20 at about the 17.
Hampton Chevrolet Jeep Mazda, located at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. Give them a call, 838-5450.
And we want to thank our corporate sponsors, not only for this game, but all season, helping to support high school sports here on the peninsula. Channel 46 bringing you the Group AAA Division 5 state champion Phoebus Phantoms Stafford Indians game. Same day coverage. Bob, you and I will be
and Mike
tiling it back to bring this tape to the studio so they can see it in time for tonight's game.
Number 40, Tim, nose guard Trey Dager shot through there and brought, that's the first play that picked up minimal yardage. In fact, just about a half a yard.
That's about it. Almost had a no gain on that play. Quick pass, left side, Philip Brown isolated on the side. Has a first down inside the 10 at about the 6-yard line. What a beautiful play. We have not seen that play this year. DJ Parker took the snap, looked like he was going to pitch it, and then spun around and spotted Philip Brown. You'll see it from the ground level. Philip Brown has caught the ball, and then he's defended by Kevin Sullivan, but not until they have a 1st and goal at the 6-yard line. Phantoms
Brown
is limping off. As many fans know, Brown was hurt in the Lake Taylor game and had recovered to a degree, but now has come out of the game after that last play. So the Phantoms will burn their first timeout to get Brown off. Now, Brown could have gone down to a knee, if you will, and could have taken an injury timeout, but this will allow Brown the option of staying in for this next play if he's well enough to play.
Right, and if you'll notice on my notes, one of the things I've got down here is a screen pass to Philip Brown.
But Bob, you've got 17 different notes here.
Well, I didn't get down to the bottom of the page. They'll run. Phoebus will run a man in motion and hit the tight end. Quick pass on the tight end. That's another thing to look for. And this X factor, DeMarcus Holden. But you talk about a young man who is fast. That guy is really, really fast.
And there you see Philip Brown, who limped off the field, and he is an unknown at this point from this point forward. And of course, the big unknown will be the condition of Tom McClellan, the big running back for Stafford. We saw him come out and we saw him warming up late in the warm-up period, but he did have a limp, so we'll see how that goes. This is Elon Lewis, and Lewis is popped as he gets inside the 5. He was on his way to the end zone, and someone stood him up. What a nice defensive play.
Well, the guy that stood him up went backwards, and Lewis went backwards. They both went backwards.
Well, you know who that is? That's the McClellan.
Yeah, watch
21.
This. Watch this hit. Both of them.
Yeah, but McClellan, who is playing both sides of the ball, so his condition may not be so tenuous as he is playing defense. And if I'm the coach and I've got a guy who's questionable, I'm going to save him for the running attack, because without him, their running attack is depleted by 2,300 yards.
And there
We've
goes
got a
Adibi.
Touchdown. Xavier Adibi from 1 yard out.
Is that reminiscence of last year?
It really was. So Xavier Adibi puts the finishing touches on a beautiful 60-yard drive with the opening kickoff. Jason Mickle will come on to try the extra point. Mickle on the season has 53 PATs, and he'll try his 54th,
and
he's good with it. So the Phantoms take the opening kickoff and drive 60 yards, capped by this, a 1 yard run by Xavier Adibi, but we'll have to see how Philip Brown is able to stay in the game, if he is able to stay in for the balance of this contest. That could be a telling factor. But the thing we've talked about so often with Phoebus is their depth.
Yeah, they've got tremendous depth, Tim, but you know, you hate to lose a player like Brown. But I look on the bench and I don't see him. In fact, I see him standing over to the end down here, and he's standing up talking to one of the coaches.
Well, and he's got his helmet on, which is good news.
So. Yeah, he's talking to Stan Sexton there. So, you know, they're not going to make him run and do anything out of the ordinary, I'm sure.
Well, and Bill D and the coaches are not going to jeopardize this young man's future for any game. So we know that they'll have his best interest at heart. All right, Schwartz will kick it off. This is a squibber, and it's fielded at the 14-yard line. Got some running room up the middle, and that is the young man McClellan we've talked about, who has been injured, and now he gets up limping from the kickoff return.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that happens when you use a young man that much, and that was Matt Matt Wright making the tackle, the 9th grader, Tim. Watch this, 87 got a hold of that ankle.
And
but that's not the ankle.
That's not the bad ankle.
Yeah.
That is the ankle that is bothering him, or the shin, actually. It was reported that he had a bruised shin or a high ankle sprain or a variety thereof. We'll have to wait and see. But at any rate, we'll give you the starters for both teams on offense and defense in just a moment. But a first down from the 32-yard line. Stafford, the pitch goes to McClellan, and McClellan has a couple of yards out close to the 35-yard line.
You see they lined up strong to the right. Here we go.
Here are the Stafford
Bobby Wickman,
offense.
senior. John Bradshaw, junior. Chris Collins, senior. Justin McClellan, junior. James Pruitt, senior. Jay Montgomery, junior. Robert Thompson, senior. Mike Allshouse, junior. Thomas McClellan, senior. Tim Sullivan, senior. Kevin Sullivan, senior.
Both teams going with a quick huddle, and we were away for the starters, and here is the replay. You're going to watch it. We're not going to let you miss anything.
That was that fullback trap.
A couple of yards at best. It brings up third down and about 6. Now, and a pass play setting up. The left-handed Allhouse, and he throws it well over the intended receiver's head. On the pattern was Tim Sullivan.
And Philip Brown was defending.
And here are the Phantoms on defense.
Garrett Powell, junior.
Stephen Friday, sophomore.
Quincy McCright, sophomore.
Emmanuel Anderson, senior.
Xavier Deavy, senior.
Travis Richmond, senior. Brandon Seminario, senior. Philip Brown, senior. DJ Parker, senior. Janason Jenkins, senior.
I noticed Janason got his name pronounced correctly.
Yeah,
He
you noticed
pronounced
that.
himself.
Well, they took the punter out of the game, Tim.
Yeah. Okay, fourth down and 6.
Well, now in a short punt formation.
And the Phantoms do have Brown back to receive the punt. So they're in an option situation when they line up like that. He takes it at the 25, eludes one tackler, and then goes out of bounds. And fortunately for the Phantoms, I'm sure, went out without being hit.
Yeah, and that was a good move. He made the first tackler miss on a nice little juke move.
Returned it to the 37, so the Phantoms will have it for the second time.
37-yard punt.
Yep.
So I'm getting your information now. So I'm sitting next to the guys that know.
The guys with the abacus. Here's Brown's fielding of the punt. Actually, the return was 12 yards to the 37. Out of the I formation. The pitch goes to Lewis on the short side. He'll pick up a couple of yards to about the 37-yard line.
Big number 60 for the Indians, Chris Collins. He comes from his linebacker spot.
6:33, and the clock is moving here in the first quarter. Here's the replay of the last run by Lewis.
That looked like it was a little slow developing. The blockers were there, and they got there just a little quicker than the runner didn't get there as quick as the blockers were there.
No gain on that play. DJ Parker on the option pitches to Lewis, and Lewis gets the corner, and he has a first down at about the 47-yard line. Just apparently enough for the first down. The spot will be, it looks like it's got it, and they'll move the chains. Tim Cole and Bob Hintz coming to you on the, let's see, what day of the month is this? Is the 14th. 14th of December. This is the championship game, and you're seeing same-day coverage of the Group AAA Division V Championship. Phoebus looking for victory number 25 in a row and their second consecutive state championship. Parker gives to Lewis, and Lewis will get a yard, and that's about it. But coming into this game, you and I talked about it in the opening show, both of these teams predominantly run the ball, and Phoebus almost 300 yards a game on the ground, so you know they're not going to do anything with the ball as far as passing is concerned unless they absolutely have to.
Well, that nice little screen pass to Brown is a flanker screen, and just one man between him and the end zone, and they did stop him on that, but that, they're not going to do anything silly.
Stafford actually had more per game yards rushing as Brown on the flanker around. Brown showing no ill effects from the ankle, is tripped up and gets to the 30-yard line, a first down.
What? First time we've seen that this year. I'm not this year, but in a long while.
We saw, I believe, against South Lakes, they ran a similar play to it last week, but I think they might have used Holden for that play. It was late in the ball game.
23 yards on this.
Watch this. This is the
and look him just hurdle a player.
Yeah, he didn't look like he's doing too badly from that ankle. That's good news for Phantom fans. 29-yard line, first down. Again, the workhorse, Elon Lewis, and he is tripped up after a short gain by Tim Sullivan.
He's one of the linebackers in that 5-2.
So the Phantoms moving the ball again in Stafford territory at the 26, 27-yard line. Second down and about 8. 4:45 remaining in the first quarter. Phoebus 7, Stafford nothing. DJ Parker gives to Adibi. No, hold that. He keeps on to the ball, rather. Faked the dive to Adibi and kept it himself for yardage to about the 24-yard line. Picked up 3.
Bring up 3, Tim, but that time, if he would have looked, he had a nice chance to pitch at that time to Lewis, and there was nobody outside, but that's one of the options. You look like the alley is there for you to run in, and that's what DJ was looking for, but there was the pitch man was open on that one.
Third down and 5 for the Phantoms. Again, the option is set up, and again, DJ Parker has some running room, is tripped up as he got to the 20. It appears to be about a half a yard short of the first down. Needs to get to the 19 and a half. Now they're going to measure. Give him a pretty good spot, actually.
Yeah, he got a good spot on it, Tim.
Watch the replay. You tell me where he should spot the ball.
Oh, yeah. In fact, he should be a little
closer
higher.
To the 20.
Yeah.
So they gave him the benefit of maybe a length of the football, and that might be enough. I'm going to guess at this point he's going to be just short by a couple of inches. Yeah, you guys keep showing.
Wait a second. Yeah, 2 inches.
2 inches. And it's, nope, you guys were way off. It's an inch.
It's
too good.
No, what are you talking about? It's a first down. He's saying first down, isn't he?
Yes, it is. I saw how you guys were measuring those 2 inches, too.
It just kept getting smaller. And pretty soon it was like this.
First down. All right, so just by the tip of the ball, the Phantoms get the first down on the DJ Parker option run. Run that a couple of times in this series. Ball is just shy of the 19-yard line. Phantoms leading 7-0, looking to add some points. And this is Lewis, and Lewis struggles to almost the 11-yard line, a gain of about 8.
I tell you, Tim, he's the kind of young man that's going to get stronger as the game goes on.
Watch the replay, and we talked about his strength before. I'll let you tell the fans who may be watching or listening for the first time.
He squats 655 pounds, more than anybody else on the team, and there's a lot of kids on that team much bigger, much heavier than he is.
He is 5'10", 205, but he is all muscle. This is Adibi. Speaking of big guys on this squad, Adibi is in the first down territory. It is a first down. It'll be first and goal for the Phantoms.
They line up, Phoebus lines up, Tim, in that what they call that elephant formation with all 3 backs stacked, and all they did that time was give it to the front man. I see that they got Adibi, Boone, and Lewis in there. Boone in between.
Boone is in the backfield again, but this time it's Lewis who gets the handoff and scores.
He wasn't about to be denied.
8 yards.
Holy moly.
The young sophomore, Elon Lewis, has an 8-yard touchdown. Elon Lewis makes it 13-0 in favor of the Phantoms. Jason Mickle will try for his 55th PAT of the season.
What a nice run that time by Lewis. He wasn't going to be denied.
Did you turn the heater off? Because I feel a draft all of a sudden.
Well, you told me to open this window, remember?
What could I be thinking?
What could you be thinking?
Mickle's extra point is no good, so we'll see how that affects this game, if in fact it does. So Jason Mickle, one of the rare times this season that he was no good on the PAT. Watch the replay of the touchdown. Elon Lewis just doing a great job of second and third effort. He just dragged Stafford defenders into the end zone. So Lewis adds to his touchdown totals of the season. I know I've got him here somewhere. Mr. Lewis coming into this game had 15 touchdowns, so that gives him 16 now. Although I believe these stats don't include last week's game, so I think he might have more than that. I think he might have closer to 18, because I remember last week he had 1,641 yards, and according to this, he still has it. So we know he had over 200. What did he have in that in the South Lakes game?
Oh, he had 173 at halftime.
He had 238, I believe it was, for the game. So Mr. Lewis has really done an incredible job, and Phantom fans, he is a sophomore. All right, Schwartz will kick it off again, an instant replay of the previous kickoff, a squibber, but we've got a stoppage of play apparently.
Offside.
Well, is it? Yeah, there's a flag. I was going to say, or perhaps they hadn't even ruled it ready for kicking off, so it looks like one of the Phantoms might have crossed the 40-yard line before or 35-yard line rather, before the ball was kicked.
Well, let's talk a little bit about our crew. We got in the truck, we got Andre Mattingly on the slow motion. We got Scotty Bowers, who does just about everything, and Nathaniel Braxton.
What else does he besides anything? He's our director, right?
Well, that's everything, right?
Oh, okay.
Mike Nowinski, Andy Foley, John Terrell, Rachel Barnes, Don Scharouse, John
there's the guys in the
Brown.
van.
They're waving to us. Okay, Beth Parker, Susan Bowers, Nathaniel Braxton, and our buddy ESPN Baton has got a track meet today.
So a different gig
he's got a different gig.
All right, the squib is taken by the Indians at the 30-yard line and not going very far. That is Derek Burton as a short return on that squib. Now, we haven't seen Schwartz kick that, just a 4-yard return, but I'm surprised. I guess they're concerned about the return ability, but
well, you're not going to get keep the ball away from the guy that can hurt you.
No,
and that's exactly what they're doing.
And they're getting great downfield coverage on the special teams. Just a 4-yard return on a squib kick is pretty amazing. So the Indians will start from their 30-yard line, trailing by 13. The pitch to McClellan. McClellan is slowed for a moment and then will end up getting a yard on a good second effort.
What a great job that time by Maurice Boone, number 4, Tim. Now he plays the safety. He plays one of the outside linebackers. No, I take that back. He was playing cornerback. I think he's in there playing cornerback.
I tried to pick up who made that play cut inside, because that's what stopped the play.
That was Maurice Boone, number 4. Yeah,
because they sealed the play, and he had McClellan had no choice but to go inside, and they were waiting for him. This is Sullivan in motion. And this is McClellan getting the handoff for another yard or two. So far, the Indians have not gotten a first down and basically have picked up very little yardage.
And if you'll notice that time at number 4 and 5, Maurice Boone and Xavier Debian on his tackle.
Lewis so far in the contest, Elon Lewis, 13 carries, 65 yards here in the first quarter. And there are a minute 35 and the clock is moving. See one of the crew momentarily taking a break. He's watching as we have people backing people up and helping do this and that and rebalance the white balance and all this other stuff. This is an option pass, and nice catch and a great job of holding on by Kevin Sullivan as McClellan on the halfback option pass completes it at the 45-yard line. A nice looking play. Watch this one. McClellan rolling to his right. Now DJ Parker stuck Sullivan right in the back as the ball was caught, and to his credit, he hung on to the ball.
That's their initial first down.
Yep. So it is a nice looking play, a trick play, if you will. You don't see the halfback option all that frequently. So a first down at the Stafford 45-yard line. Again, Sullivan comes in motion to the near side.
There's that fullback trap.
Yep, that one was the quick hitter to Tim Sullivan. And he will gain 3. Here's the replay. Looked like he might get more than that, but they mark his forward progress at the 48-yard line. So it's 2nd down and 7 for the Indians as we hit the half-minute mark remaining here in a rapidly moving first quarter. We knew coming into this game that both of these teams run for almost 300 yards a game, so you have to expect a short game. And it looked like Phoebus might have been in the neutral zone lining up, and if they were, that will be 5 yards marked off against them, but we'll let the officials tell us what's going on. And unfortunately, our microphone situation does not work here because of interference. Last year we couldn't do any pregame interviews, and you did the pregame interviews. You did that down on the sideline with a hard wire.
Yeah, the hard wire. Couldn't do the portable mic or whatever.
So it's second down rather, and 2 after the 5-yard penalty. That was a big penalty because gives them a good running team like this just 2 yards, and they have.
Well, and it also opens up different things you can do now.
Right. Stafford trailing by 13. Again, they almost
They didn't get it off. They didn't get it off.
So they didn't get the 25-second, and they do
no,
have
it's the quarter.
The quarter. Okay, because I was going to say they have 25-second clocks in the end zones here, something you do not see traditionally at a high school game. You do have 25 seconds to get a play off after the ball is set and ready for play. And in most stadiums you don't have that, so the quarterbacks have to rely on a clock, if you will, in their heads. Whereas here, they can actually look into the end zone and see a big clock.
Clock in your head.
Clock in your head.
Oh, that's something different.
Yes, it is. So
are you born with it? You get it implanted.
You're going to get yours implanted.
Whoa. I'll talk about your hat here in a minute.
My hat. I brought my hat.
Yeah.
I brought it for Andy.
And Andy said that if I could distract you long enough for you to come up and get that hat.
Right.
We're talking about a Vikings hat, by the way.
A Minnesota Vikings. Well, after 12 minutes, the Phantoms lead 13-0, but this drive now for Stafford is starting to take some notice, and they are in Phoebus territory, benefiting by the 5-yard offside penalty a moment ago.
And a nice quarterback or halfback pass.
Yep. Sullivan goes in motion, and the quick fullback trap is to Tim Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan is number 1. Tim Sullivan is number 7, and Sullivan I refer to in motion as Kevin. But it is enough for a first down, gain of 3 yards, and a second first down of the ball game for the Indians.
Anthony Roberts and Quest King going in on defense.
Ball is marked at the Phoebus 44-yard line. Just underway here in the second quarter.
They run this wing T. They'll put that man in motion a lot of times, and the man in motion now is
McClellan, and we have another penalty flag.
And this time it's on the offense, Tim, and the quarterback really upset. All's house said, wait, we've done this all year long. What's going on here?
Illegal procedure penalty will back them up 5 yards. It'll make it 1st and 15 for the Indians. Out of Stafford, an area just between Quantico and Fredericksburg in northern part of Virginia. Ball is marked at the Phoebus 49. McClellan goes in motion. And a flag down. Pitch goes to McClellan as he reversed his field and came back. Picks up about 6 yards, but it will be, depending on the penalty, looks like illegal procedure might have been the call.
And that is the call. That's just almost like a shuffle pass. In fact, it is the shuffle pass.
So the Phantoms could take the play and make it 2nd down and 9, or make it 1st down and 20, and I feel very confident they'll make it 1st down and 20. And that will be the call. So they back them up 5.
Well, they're backing themselves up 5. That'll drive a coach crazy.
Well, we talked about the intangible when you come into a game like this, and that is experience. When you get into this game, the nerves are frayed. These young men are in a circumstance that they're not familiar with. McClellan tripped up Xavier Adibi.
That was no trip up. That was a hello.
Xavier Adibi just put the hurting on the big 2,300-yard rusher, McClellan, and he gets nothing. Watch the replay. Here's a brick wall called Xavier Adibi.
He says, welcome, I'm the X-Man.
Really, the younger brother of Nathaniel Adibi of Virginia's Tech fame. 2nd down and 20. This is McClellan, has some running room and is across midfield to about the Phoebus 48-yard line, which will bring 3rd down and about 13, almost 14 yards to go.
That is their best looking play that they've run from that offensive set, and it's just a power sweep.
They mark it at the Phoebus 48. Third down and almost 14. Along 13 as you look at the cheerleading squad along the Phoebus sideline. Good crowd on hand from Phoebus. Kevin Sullivan in motion. Allshouse wants to throw. The left-hander swings the pass to McClellan, and Manny Anderson is there to meet him for no gain. In fact, a loss of a yard.
And Manny knew that play was coming. He was where he was supposed to be. That was his responsibility.
So Tom McClellan, watch this. You're going to see the left-hander just swing the pass out to McClellan and Manny Anderson, and then gets help from Jenkins to finish him off. But Manny Anderson read that one perfectly.
And who was that one that helped him out?
Janason Jenkins. Yes, sir. Fourth down and long. They again shift and almost blocked it, as McWright might have even gotten a hand on it. A very poor punt. Goes out of bounds. Let's see where they line it up. It looks like it'll be at the Phoebus 34-yard line.
That's as far as they needed to go for a first down.
Yeah, that would have been the first down marker had they been able to make a first down. So the Phantoms are able to get excellent field position out of the exchange. Again, what they do, as you talked about, they like to do a lot of trick plays. They line up in a short punt formation. Just a 15-yard punt, as Quincy McWright might have gotten a hand on it. So the Phantoms leading 13-0, get it back. This is Lewis. He is the breadwinner extraordinaire. He carried the ball 223 times coming into this contest. And they like to give him the ball on an average about 20 times a game.
Well, he's got it almost 20 so far.
Yeah, and coming into this game, averaging 126 yards per game. Watch the replay. You'll see Lewis just following his blocking.
What nice camera work.
Oh, great job. Crew does a great job. We really appreciate all the efforts all season long. Lewis again into the middle of the pile for a couple of yards. The Crew, let's talk one thing about the Crew we want to talk about. This game started at 4 o'clock. The Crew left Hampton at 7:30. Talk about your 12-hour day. You got to take your hat off to this group of young men and women, and some not so young men and women.
Yeah, well, we had some people a little upset because we were using this room and we didn't do the first game, but hey, first come, first serve.
You learn from experience, right? But really. But want to thank our Crew because they've given their entire Saturday to be here to bring this game.
Look at the pitch.
The pitch at the last second to Lewis. He's got one man to beat, and he was going to beat him.
Oh, he made a cut like he was going inside, and number one for the Stafford Indians,
Kevin Sullivan.
He took a step inside, and that was all that Lewis needed. But Tim, DJ Parker waited till the last second to pitch that ball.
Oh, no question about it. In fact, I thought Lewis was not going to get it as 60 yards on the rush, but DJ Parker got the first 8 of those 60 before he pitched it off to Lewis.
How do you do that on statistics? That all goes to Lewis.
It all goes to Lewis. And I had to look to make sure there weren't any yellow hankies down, and there weren't. 16 carries, 131 yards so far for Mr. Lewis, and we've just gotten to the 8:05 mark of the second quarter.
Going for 2.
Heading for 2 as they had missed the earlier extra point try over the middle and a flag down. DJ Parker took a pretty good hit, but let's see how this penalty is called.
Looked like illegal procedure.
If it's against the Phantoms, obviously Stafford would refuse it.
And now, was it happened before the snap? If it happened before the snap.
Well, Stafford's leaving the field as to say it will be accepted, and an illegal shift. It did not happen before the snap. So the extra point try is no good. So the score will remain Phoebus 19 and Stafford nothing. Let's see if we have that touchdown run on replay. And here it is for you. This is the DJ. I'm telling you, this is perfect coverage here. Look at this. Parker looks at the very last second. Yeah, our camera people were even fooled by that because he just got rid of it. And then what you couldn't see there was a move that undressed Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah, he went back and picked up his shoe.
Yeah, it was close to being a forward lateral. I've got to think that lateral was an even handoff type lateral because it was very close to being a forward lateral.
And the official was right there.
Yep. So we will, as we often criticize them, when we don't agree with them, we will applaud them when we make the right call.
when we do agree
When we
with
do
them,
agree with
or
them,
when
that's
they make the right call.
No, we like that.
Well, we think they made the right call.
Well, because
or
we-
in that case, a no call.
Exactly. 60 yards on the carry by Lewis. And I'll tell you one thing, he was at about the 30-yard line, and Kevin Sullivan had him lined up, and Lewis put a fake on him that Kevin Sullivan is still going to be thinking about several years from now.
And we got offside
another
again.
Offside, yep. Offside against the Phantoms. It's so odd. They haven't, in the games we've covered, and they're starting to number in quite a few now, we have not seen this as a problem.
You notice he's kicking it in the air now, but look where the sun is. The sun is right in the eyes of the receivers. Yes, the kicking team is just getting a little anxious and getting, and you got to understand the kicker is going to take a little stutter step.
You know, I wonder if they weren't kicking that squib kick when the kicking team had the sun in their eyes. If you kick it in the air, you might lose it. So keeping it on the ground level, you'd have a better opportunity to see the ball. Maybe that was the strategy. Good kick this time by Schwartz.
Yeah, but you don't want to let it bounce and roll.
No, taken by McClellan, and McClellan is taken. And that is Holden, I believe.
He got 3 yards on that return.
3 yards in return, and that was the aforementioned X factor you were talking about, Holden.
DeMarcus Holden.
He just did an excellent job.
Oh, he is so fast, Tim. He just gives you that thing. But you don't want to let the ball bounce and roll. Anyway, right there, you're not going to outrun him. And I don't care if the young man has 2 good legs.
So the Indians now will start with poor field position at their 12-yard line, trailing 19-0. And the handoff goes to number 7, Tim Sullivan, for short yardage, maybe 2. But this is where your style of an offensive attack hurts you if you're one-dimensional.
Yeah, and they are one-dimensional, as you said. But we were talking earlier about the statistics as we watched this thing about there's something wrong because the quarterback statistics don't bear out what the receivers have got, and that's because they run evidently a lot of the halfback passes.
2nd down and 8. And the handoff is to McClellan, who gets out close to the 20-yard line. It'll be short of a first down by about 2 yards. But what I started to say was when you're one-dimensional and you get down by 3 touchdowns, you have a difficult time catching up when you get this far behind.
Yeah. Well, you do, Tim, because you're the type of team that normally grinds it out. And now not only are you down 3 touchdowns, but you also have the clock as a factor. You don't have a full game time to do it.
And you're up against a team that grinds it out. So you know every time Phoebus has got the ball, they're not going to pass it.
Nice run that time.
McClellan got some running room and gets the first down out to the 28-yard line.
Slipped a tackle, broke a tackle, did a good job. Nice job that time.
Well, he got some good blocking.
Yes, he did.
And you don't get to be in this game, the championship game, without good blocking. So you know his offensive line has done a good job for him all year. He's got 2,300 yards on the season. When I saw that this morning, I thought, well, that's nice they put his statistics for his career in there. And then I read a little further, 2,382 yards this year for McClellan. And this is McClellan again, and he gets nothing. As, in fact, the ball was stripped, but they're going to say no. It was a dead ball. The whistle had blown very close.
Maurice
Boone says, come on, Mr. Ref.
I stole that ball.
He did, too, but the whistle apparently had blown. So Stafford dodges a huge bullet, because if that had been a turnover and a touchdown, this game would probably be just about over.
Yeah, see, he's going backwards.
Yeah, there's no forward progress there. So Maurice Boone says, come on now.
Well, but now I know I can do this.
That's right. Now, Boone on the season has 5 touchdowns. McClellan in the game, 8 carries, just 23 yards so far. But to his credit, he's playing with 1 wheel. And that's difficult against an average team. But when you play a defensive team of the quality of the Phantoms, you've got to be at full strength. And we've got another flag down. Did not see any motion.
I'm trying to see where the flag came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, delay a game.
So they didn't get the playoff.
But I never did see the flag.
Must have been, well, the referee would normally be the one that
Yeah,
threw
he's the one that, and he never threw his flag. He just blew his whistle.
So 5:26 remains in the first half. Stafford looking at second down and 15, trailing 19-0, and another flag. Now this will be for motion. Whether the Phantoms lined up in the neutral zone or someone moved, we don't know. We'll wait and see. The consecutive penalty flags, and it appears it was a neutral zone infraction against the Phantoms, so they'll trade 5-yard penalties.
I'm not saying a word.
Oh, okay.
Not saying a word.
So offsetting penalties back to back in the sense it's now second down and 10. We're back to where we were 2 downs ago. Althouse gets it away on a forward pass, and he does get some yardage. That is Matt Brady who picks up yardage.
He took a hit from Xavier Adebe, Tim. Oh, jeez.
Matt Brady on the season, 59 carries, 339 yards, and a touchdown. There you see Brady. Manny Anderson, one of the best open field tacklers in the state of Virginia. So it brings up third down and about 4. Need to get to the 38-yard line. Out of the I formation this time. Sullivan goes in motion. And they give to McClellan. McClellan will get close to the first down, but it looks like he's short by about a half a yard.
Or maybe even a full yard.
Or a couple of inches.
We're giving ourselves a lot of leeway.
That's
here.
right.
A lot of leeway.
Now he's a good yard short. Watch the replay. You're going to see McClellan. But you know what you don't see is you don't see his offensive line finishing their blocks.
Yeah.
They're standing up and they're looking around to see, well, where are you now? How far did you go? And you got to finish those blocks and worry about where your running back is after they blow the whistle.
And Tim, Coach Pierce is going to go for it. I bet you. I don't think he's going to kick it.
It is a 4th and 1. This is a big play. They do, in fact, snap the ball, and McClellan gets the first down and then some as he struggles out close to midfield. So the Stafford Indians get a first down on a crucial 4th and 1, and McClellan picks up almost 10. And so often happens, you've got that line of scrimmage stacked up, and if you can get past there, yeah, you can get past that initial line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can break a big one, but Scotty, our director, noticed there was a near face mask situation or call there. Just barely let his hand slide off of that face mask at just the right time. The only thing missing from this booth is some nice Beantown coffee from our friends at Zooms.
We need Zooms to come up here and bring us some coffee, and that would hit the spot.
And I want to talk about some pizza, but I don't want to talk about the stadium pizza.
Well, I heard you got a real undersized pizza.
Well, you wouldn't have that happen at Zooms, I'll tell you that.
No, sir. You get your fried chicken, potato wedges. You can get the Krispy Kreme donuts. And if you know Tim, you get them like a box in one. Ham and cheese subs. Coke in that good Citgo gas.
I told you. Oh, there goes McClellan. Has some running room. He's starting to warm up a little bit. He's out of bounds, but not until he gets a first down at the Phoebus 31-yard line.
And Tim, this drive started back at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, this is impressive. Watch McClellan now. He's getting some blocking and starting to warm up. The Phantoms can't leave the field early, if you know what I mean, mentally. They've got to play this whole 48 minutes.
And that's 15 carries for 60 yards right now, and that was DeMarcus Holden, number 25, that made the stop.
Timeout has been called by the Phantoms.
And I'm sure the coaches are not happy with once they got that first down on the fourth and 1 and picked up about 10, and they've seemed like momentum has shifted a little bit to that offense. And Coach D and his coaching staff out there, let's talk with the defense a little bit, and that's the coach that he sends out there, Coach Navard.
And we're not sure what the fans can hear because we're not able to hear it, but you can see from our camera literally getting right into the huddle. And Bill D, by the way, looks like he walked right past that razor again for about the 4th day in a row.
He's not going to shave after Thursday.
He told me that's what he said. He says after Thursday, no shaving. He's talking about superstitious coaches. But you know what? If you're the reigning state champion, you haven't lost in 2 years, whatever it takes.
You got that right.
First and 10 for the Indians, starting to get some momentum going. Allshouse gives to McClellan, and McClellan will just get a couple of yards as he is stopped at the 29-yard line. Second down and 8. Clock becoming a factor here with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first half.
Hampton Chevrolet Jeep Mazda, you can get your new and used cars down there. Give them a call at 838-5450, located at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton.
You saw the replay of McClellan, who is their workhorse. We talked about it. On the season, McClellan carried 334 times. Just an amazing number of carries.
Well, they want to give him the ball about 40 times if they can.
There he is again. McClellan for a couple more.
And that's your buddy, Janason Jenkins, making the stop, number 21 for the Phantoms.
And you see, or at least I was watching as McClellan gingerly limped back. He is holding the left ham as well, so he might be suffering from more than just that shin injury.
Well, they're in a I formation now.
Yeah, they've done that a couple of times. This is McClellan again as he is stopped at the 24-yard line. That'll bring up fourth down and a long 3.
Picked up about 2 is all he got.
And he is slow to get up again. He is noticeably taking his time to get back to the huddle. There you see him just rejoining his team. But it is fourth, and instead of 4th and 1, they're looking at 4th down and 3, almost 4 here. And I will tell you the statistics, they have a kicker, this Ray Dam, who has kicked 9 field goals this year. And, down 19-0, you might want to consider trying to get some points.
You might do that, Tim, and I think they're going to wait till the clock gets down to and then call timeout just before the play clock expired, and that's exactly what they did.
And I think the strategy would be that if we give the ball back to the Phantoms, we don't want them to have any more time than possible to remain here in the half. So we're going to look into the Bill D. Phoebus huddle one more time here as we've got a camera shot. Listen in and see what you can hear. You got no mic on the camera.
Well, then that's right. No wireless works, Tim. So
I didn't know
we get to hear what they get to hear.
I didn't know whether we had a mic, but our cameras aren't wireless. That was why I thought perhaps we had a hardwire mic on the camera. We have a lip reader down there going to tell us. So Bill says, can we read all the things that he says?
Kelly came up with the crew at 7:30 this morning. I think he's just been sitting up here thinking about things he's going to say. 12 hours will do that to you.
That's right. Yep, there's the Stafford huddle. Now, that's from our other sideline camera, and that's dangerous territory when you're sticking your nose in their huddle. In fact, the referee just pointed and told him to get off the field. So. And now the coaches from Stafford want to know why our camera's in their huddle.
Yeah, what's going on here?
All right, it's 4th down. This is a big play in this ball game. If Stafford can get a first down and keep the drive alive, it's a different story. Let's see how they do. In motion is McClellan. Allshouse wants to pass. He shuffles it forward. McClellan's got some running room. He's got the first down inside the 20 at about the 17-yard line.
Tim, they run the man in motion, and the man in motion is the one that comes back, and that's the one that they hit on that shuffle pass.
Here's your replay. This was a pretty-looking play. Little shuffle pass to McClellan, and you take his quickness and give the ability to give him a quick pass like that. It's a very effective play. First down at the 17 of Phoebus. Clock moving. We're under a minute and a half remaining. Phoebus 19, Stafford nothing, but Stafford is threatening as they stack him up. That is McClellan once again. I could almost assure you McClellan will get the handoff at the 15-yard line. Timeout situation. We've got timeouts remaining for Stafford has 2 and Phoebus has 1.
And I'm surprised they didn't take one. Because they're under a minute.
Yeah, under a minute, 15-yard line. Well, second down and 8. You've got to get. You got plenty of time. You want to have enough time on there, but they want to use every second they can and score if possible. This is the pitch to McClellan, halfback pass. We saw it earlier, and it is broken up. No, it's a touchdown.
And it looked like to me that the guy left early on the line of scrimmage, Tim. That was to the tight end, but that is a touchdown.
Robert Thompson on the receiving end of a 15-yard halfback option. So the Stafford Indians have certainly not given this game up as they march down the field with 42 seconds remaining, have made it a 19-6 ball game. Now they'll try the extra point as Ray Dam will be on to try. He'll kick out of the quarterback hold of Allshouse. His kick is long enough, and it is good. So the Stafford Indians do something that 7 different times this year a team could not do, and that is they score against the Phantoms. There you see it, just over the hands. I thought for a moment that he'd been able to tip it away on an excellent coverage on defense, but that ball was thrown right where only one person was going to catch it, and that was the young man Thompson on the receiving end.
But he came off that line of scrimmage like as quick as he just blew by the the defender, and got behind and scored.
I thought he was going to break it up. I thought that he got a hand in at the last second, and to Thompson's credit, he made a good catch on it to get the touchdown. 7 shutouts on the season for the Phantoms. This Phantoms only allowed an average of 4 points a game, so Stafford's already scored more points than the average opponent did. But then you get to this level of competition, you expect the team to be able to score, and Stafford did an excellent job. That was, I believe you said they started at the 10-yard line.
Yep.
It was a 90-yard drive.
90-yard drive. And the drive started, Tim, with 8 minutes, so they used 7 minutes and 18 seconds.
So just 42 seconds and 1 timeout remaining for the Phantoms here in the first half. Phantoms 19, Stafford 7. Dam's kick is taken and bounces off of Philip Brown. Is that Brown? Yeah, Philip Brown. And Brown is all the way out across the 45-yard line. Ball came loose, and Stafford says they've got it. And now the officials say they've got it. So momentum swinging in favor of Stafford. That was number 25, Donald Lamar, who got the fumble. Philip Brown coughed it up. Going to have it on the replay.
The ball hits him in the chest.
If we have it, no, I guess we won't. Okay, well, we're back to the live action now. 46-yard line, and 2 timeouts remain for Stafford. 34 seconds, plenty of time. Pitch to McClellan, and McClellan is going to get short yardage as he is tripped up. Let's see, I believe here's the return as Adibi made the tackle. Brown fumbled the initial handling of the ball. And here is return, and there you see the ball. Nice slow motion, guys. Ball came out, clearly a fumble, and fallen on by the Stafford Indians, Donald Lamar, number 25. So they have used their second of 3 timeouts now. McClellan in the first half, 17 carries, 72 yards, and a couple of pass completions. So he's got a lot of those pass yardage we're sure we can't find in the statistics.
He must have, because
27 seconds remain to halftime. Stafford 19-7 on the short end of that 19-7 score. If you joined us late this game, being shown same-day coverage from the University of Richmond, Division 5, Group AAA. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, Mike Hauser, and Bob Killen coming to you from UR. Adibi scored from a yard out. Nickel added the extra point to make it 7-0. Then Elan Lewis from 8 yards out. And the extra point try was no good, making it 13-0. And then Lewis with a 60-yard run on the option play, a last-second pitch by DJ Parker. Extra point attempt for 2 was no good, and it was 19-0. And then with just 42 seconds remaining in the first half, Stafford scored to make it 19-7 on a 15-yard pass from McClellan to Thompson. They added the extra point, and now they've gotten the fumble from the kickoff by the return by Philip Brown.
We got a double wideout on this side.
Second down and a long 7. And I got a double reverse. McCrite, now they're going to try and pass the ball. And it's thrown up for grabs. And who came down? I believe they intercepted it.
Interception.
Yep. Wanted to make sure because there was a last-second hit put on Tim Sullivan, who threw the halfback option. Wanted to make sure the yellow hanky didn't come out for roughing.
He really got hurt hard here, right?
But but that was a clean hit. He could not do anything about it. No way. Oh, but a late hit, or not a late hit, but a vicious hit after the interception Did you see who came up with the INT? Because I'm still trying to figure. See if you can run that a little. Was it Parker? DJ Parker. All right. So Parker, again, doing a great job on defense as well as offense. Big interception now. This is Philip Brown. Brown wants to take the handoff and gets out to the 25-yard line. That'll be close to the first down.
Well, they're going to give him the first down.
9 seconds remaining as they stop the clock to move the chains. Now Bill D will decide whether or not to burn his final timeout, or will he just be content? No, they're going to take their last timeout, so they'll have at least one more play with 9 ticks of the clock remaining. We really didn't talk about the weather for this game, Bob. We're almost at halftime, and perhaps we should have, but it was really a non-factor per se. The temperature relatively comfortable for the 14th of December.
I was very surprised. I remember last year we were up here. Not only was it cold, it was windy, and it was wet. The fields seems to be in pretty good condition considering the rain that they've had up here and the game played earlier on it. And but
I haven't seen a lot of people slipping or anything. Yeah, they had 6 inches of snow last week, but we haven't seen a lot of slipping or footing problems.
That's what I'm saying. And both coaches agreed that the field was in real good condition.
But the wind has been a minimal factor. I would say we've got about a 12, 15 mile an hour wind, but it's been, well, again, with 2 teams that don't pass very often, it's not been a big factor.
Right.
Having said that, Stafford has had the better of the passing game, not because of a pure passing quarterback, but because of their halfback option that McClellan has.
Well,
has
not only is he passing down the field, but the shuffle pass is working right good too.
And you don't have to worry about the wind with the shuffle pass. You know, you're only throwing the ball forward 3 or 4 yards. All right, DJ Parker on what could be the last play of the half throws it deep. Philip Brown is out there, incomplete as McClellan can't quite come up with it. 2 seconds remaining. So the Phantoms will have one more play. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 rather. So time for one more attempt. Trying to get someone open downfield and see if they can make something happen. Of course, the other side of that coin is if Stafford can pick it off and return it, you've got a huge momentum swing.
Well, they've got McClellan clear back at the 40-yard line. He's a good 30 yards from the line of scrimmage.
And this time, Phoebus will just play it safely with the handoff to end the first half. So the Phantoms at halftime trying to repeat, only the 4th team in 50 years to do so if the Phantoms can. They lead 19-7 at halftime. We'll return to the University of Richmond Stadium for the 3rd quarter of action after this brief timeout. Back here at the University of Richmond, Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. As you see the stadium here in darkness now, stadium has the lights on, and we're about set to get the second half underway. But first half statistics for you. First of all, Phoebus had 9 first downs. They rushed the ball 25 times for 184 yards, led by Elan Lewis with 16 carries for 131 yards. They passed just twice, completing 1 for 10 yards. They had no punts. And the Phantoms were only penalized twice for 15 yards in the first half. They returned the ball 3 times for 71 yards. They did lose a fumble, and they had the ball for 10 minutes and 2 seconds. Stafford, on the other side, had 6 first downs. They rushed the ball 20 times for 82 yards, and they were paced by McClellan's 72 yards on 17 carries. They passed 5 out of 7 times with 1 interception, that one by DJ Parker. And they did have a total of 42 yards and a touchdown pass. Their only touchdown coming on the halfback option from 15 yards out from McClellan to Thompson. They punted the ball twice, averaging 26 yards per punt. They were penalized 3 times for 15 yards, returned 3 for 26, and they had the ball almost 14 minutes. So they actually had the ball about 3 minutes longer than the Phantoms did. And Stafford will get the ball to start the second half at the 15-yard line. Out close to the 28-yard line goes number 27. That is Matt Brady.
Oh, well, okay. Tim can reach that.
Yeah, long arms. Got that from my boarding house reach growing up. That's how I never lost any meals.
Second half brought to you in part by Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. Mark and Kenny, they're on call 24 hours a day. Give them a call at 850-5564.
Here is the replay of the kick. And a nice return by Brady out to the 27-yard line. So the Phantoms now leading by 12 on defense. And this is McClellan. McClellan almost breaks it. In fact, he has gotten away from a tackler. He has one man to beat. McCrite stops him at the 37-yard line. But Tom McClellan starting to show how he ended up with 2,300 yards. He was stopped dead, and through second and third efforts, got a huge gain. Watch this. Into the middle of the line. He stopped right there, but they did not wrap him up, and that's how this young man has been so successful. Luckily for the Phantoms, Quincy McWright was there. 34 yards on the play. So the momentum continues to swing in favor of the Indians of Stafford. Again, McClellan gets the call. And again, he has some running room to the outside and is tripped up after gaining about 7 yards.
It looks like to me, Tim, that he's doing a better job of following his blockers, and the blockers are doing a better job of sealing off the Phantoms. Watch this replay, and he just breaks it to the outside because that's where the lane is. Second half also brought to you in part by Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home, conveniently located at Hampton Center Parkway and North Armstead Avenue. For a tour of the facility, stop by or give them a call at 827-4670. Nancy Staten is the manager.
Second down and 3 after the 7-yard gain by Tom McClellan. Into the middle of the lineup this time, the fullback gets the call. That is number 7, Tim Sullivan. And he gets close to the first down. He'll be about a yard short.
That's that little fullback trap, just trying to keep the linebackers for Phoebus honest, make sure that they don't kind of cheat a little bit to the outside.
Third down and a long yard. Kevin Sullivan in motion. McClellan gets the call. He has the first down as he picks up yardage to about the 27-yard line.
Zooms has given an award to the senior player on each of the Hampton teams this year that have demonstrated academic excellence. These players be awarded plaques at a school board meeting after the season's over. We'd like to thank David Allen and Zooms for the continued support of WHCS and our student athletes.
Stafford going without a huddle. 20 carries, 116 yards now for McClellan. And this is McClellan again. And this time he is pancaked as he got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. 1 yard maybe.
Jenkins is one of the, and Manny Anderson in on to stop that time.
Here you see it from the ground level, and he was stopped cold. And there you see number 21, Jenkins, Janason.
Janason, and right underneath him was number 8, Manny Anderson.
Gained a little more than a yard. Second down, and let's call it 9, almost 8. Sullivan in motion. And again, McClellan gets the call, and nothing this time. So this time now the Phantoms starting to realize they cannot just arm tackle this young man. You have to finish your tackle, and that time they did a good job of it.
You got to wrap him up, Tim. There's just no doubt about that.
Here's your replay. And they stacked it up well as Boone forced it inside and then had lots of help. Third down and 10.
Hampton Chevrolet Jeep Mazda, located at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. Give them a call, 838-5450.
So a big third down early in the third quarter. We've got 9:05 remaining, but a crucial third down for Stafford, down by 12. Allshouse wants to pass. Now he'll keep the ball, and he will not get even close to the first down as he only picks up 2 yards, bringing up 4th and 8.
Tim, and there was nobody for him to pass to. That good defense that time. That's almost a defensive sack that time, a secondary sack. They had everybody covered.
But you also have to factor in the fact that this is not a passing team. So when you get in this situation, you don't have the confidence that a passing team would have.
Well, that's true.
When you're rolling out and you've only thrown 30 passes all year, you have to say to yourself, can I do this? I mean, you've got to be questioning your abilities at this point.
If you get past it too many, your arms are going to get sore.
Right. All right, and now they're going to call a timeout as something in the defensive alignment or the offensive alignment causes Allshouse to call the timeout with 4th down and 8. But to carry that point a little further, when you think about it, if you're a passing team and you're used to coming up with the big pass play, your confidence level is a whole different situation. When you've relied on your man to carry the ball for 2,300, almost 2,400 yards on the year, and now you're doing something that's somewhat foreign to you, it's got to be a factor.
Well, but Tim, they're being kind of successful at it, especially with that little shuffle pass.
Well, yes, but you can't mess around with 4th and 8 for the shuffle pass. You know, I understand what you're saying, but there's a factor involved with your confidence level that I think is important. I think that's why Althouse was more willing to just run with the ball and get 2 yards than he was to take a chance and throw it.
Well, and it looks, I'm not sure what's happening. He may be going for a field goal or something because Althouse is going out, as along with Kevin Sullivan is going out. So let's see what happens. Now, Mike Hauser told me that the long snapper, okay, here's one of the gimmick plays.
All right, and undoubtedly the Phantoms have had an opportunity to consider what they do in this case. Sullivan throwing, it is in the air, incomplete, and the ball will go over to the Phantoms. Look around and make sure there are no penalty flags, and that is a very scary situation when you're looking at an alignment that is so bizarre. You have to be saying, wait a minute, who do I cover? And it makes you stop for a moment.
Well, you took the quarterback out, and McClellan was a passer that time, correct?
Sullivan, actually.
Sullivan, okay.
Yeah, Tim Sullivan, number 7, the other halfback. And Sullivan, that was a momentary thing there. They almost got a big play out of it. But the Phantom defense does as they've done all year long. They come up with a big defensive stop. And now you've got Xavier Adibi, and Adibi is running all the way out to the 39-yard line.
Nice job that time on a fake pitch, and then the handoff to the fullback coming off tackle with a nice trap block in there. I don't know if we can pick up who did the trap, but nice job that time, and a little adjustment, different play. We haven't seen that play today.
No, and yet if you're Bill D, you're saying, look, I'm going to have to throw some wrinkles into this game too. Stafford's starting to think we're getting into the old handoff to Lewis thing. And this time they'll swing it to far side to Phillip Brown. He's got a man isolated on him, and he'll get another first down at midfield.
And number 70 was out there to block for him, Jason Bowles, but he couldn't get in position to block the receiver. I mean the defensive back out to watch it.
And you don't want to block him in the back because then it negates everything. You've already got close to a first down, and as it turns out, Phillip Brown is able to get the first down just across midfield.
Talking about Phillip, he comes off the sideline right now, taking a little breather.
Still nursing that bad ankle. And this is Lewis, Elan Lewis to the outside. He gets away from one man. He may go. He's got McClellan to beat. McClellan got him, but he couldn't stop him. Lewis scores the touchdown.
How about a 50-yarder, Tim?
How about a 50-yarder to go along with his 60-yarder?
Well, that'll kind of put Mr. Moe back in your corner.
Doesn't hurt at all, as you see Elan Lewis coming off, young sophomore phenom for the Phantoms. On the game, 17 carries, 181 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jason Mickle will try and add the extra point. So how quickly the fortunes turn. Stafford driving, trying to make it a 1-touchdown ball game. Give it up on downs, and now the Phantoms have answered with a big run by Lewis.
Well, I don't know if we got illegal procedure that time or if the defense came across. I think it's going to be against the offense. Defense made a move, but if they don't get into the neutral zone and the offense comes out of that 3-point stance and then it's against them, and that's exactly the call.
However, they had not kicked it yet, so they'll still get another chance to try the extra point, leading 25-7. But how quickly, what a big turnaround. Your defense holds, and you go down the field in almost nothing flat to add a touchdown.
Nice cut to the outside by Lewis.
The extra point try by Mickle is no good, so consecutive misses.
Well, it wasn't his fault on that. The snap was real high, and he just goes, watch the cut right there, goes to the outside, makes one man miss, and right here just outruns McClellan.
Yep. And Elan Lewis, big night, 17 carries, 181 yards, and his 3rd touchdown of the ball game. I wonder who we're thinking about for our offensive player of the game.
I tell you what.
But you know what happened on that drive, Bob? That was an excellent situation of showing the diversity of the offense that the Phantoms possess versus the nature of the offense of Stafford.
Yeah.
You got a big run from a DB to get him out of the 20-yard line and up to the 30-something. Then you got the swing pass to Philip Brown to get you to midfield. And then you got Elan Lewis showing what he does.
I'll do the rest of the other 50.
There you go. 3 plays. They go virtually 80 yards and may have broken the back of Stafford, although this game is long from over. This is Matt Brady returning the kick out to the 32-yard line.
He got it on about the 8-yard line, Tim, and carried it out to the 32, so that's about 24 yards. I got an automatic statistician to my right here, which you normally have. You watch the run back. But last year, Xavier Adebe, 4 touchdowns in last year's game, and already Elan Lewis 3 in this game.
Stafford from their 32-yard line, trailing by 18 now. Got a new quarterback. This is Sullivan, and he's just going to run for the corner and will pick up good yardage before he's pushed out of bounds at the 39-yard line. So he'll gain about 7.
And I think that was Anderson, Manny Anderson. Yeah, number 8 was over there that knocked him out of bounds, but he did pick up good yardage.
Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, Mike Hauser, and Bob Killen as you watch the replay with Channel 46 crew here in Richmond on the 14th of December.
That was not Manny that made that hit.
As I said, we're here at the University of Richmond on the 14th of December, 2002.
Had to correct myself.
Where am I? Division 5, Group AAA, championship game as Stafford gets a first down. Stafford had 6 first downs in the first half, and they get another one here in the third quarter.
We had a penalty, Tim. There was a late hit out there on one of the defensive backs for the Phantoms.
The late hit committed by or offended by?
That was on the Phantoms.
Okay.
And I look for it to go against them.
On the Phantoms, meaning the hit was
on the Phantoms.
On the Phantom. Perpetuated by Stafford.
Yes, sure. And it was uncalled for. Play was over. But I have been watching this in the backfield, and this has been happening all game long, that there's been little shots taken to the defensive backs and safeties for the Phantoms that has gone basically unnoticed by most of the fans in here.
As you see or saw for a moment at least, Bill D and the coaching staff on the sideline back to that shot. Trying to do something only 4 teams have been able to do in the last 50 years, and that's win back-to-back state champions. Stafford, Sullivan rolling. He's not even thinking about passing, and he will be grabbed by
Anderson.
Manny Anderson with the big shirt tail stop.
Hey, Tim, he ran through 2 blockers to get to the ball carrier.
That's Tim Sullivan.
Watch him right here. Going right there. Goes through one.
Bounced off one.
Like that says, you supposed to block me? No, you can't block me.
See, that 15-yard penalty against Stafford is going to be a backbreaker potentially, because they are so unable to pick up huge yardage like that. And that was that was an interesting, when they tacked on that penalty earlier, it was not added on, so It was a 1st and 10. So the loss of just 3 makes it 2nd down and 13, but they lost field position obviously from that late hit. Sullivan gives to McClellan. McClellan almost broke loose, but he is stopped after a gain out to about the 33-yard line.
And that was Philip Brown, number 2, on the stop that time. Watch this, just that little trap up there. Straight ahead. They're trying to pop him through there and let him pick up some good yardage.
So far, McClellan is losing the battle of the tailbacks to Lewis. As you see the scoreboard, 5.5 minutes. The clock is moving. Phoebus 25, Stafford 7. McClellan 127 yards on 24 carries. As we watch the pass downfield, batted away by DJ Parker. Almost came up with the interception.
Did you get that?
I got that.
Okay.
181 yards for Lewis, 127 yards for McClellan. As you watch this replay, Sullivan can throw the ball pretty well downfield and threw into a crowd, had a couple of defenders there.
A couple.
DJ Parker was the man who batted it away. So now you're looking at 4th and long, 4th down and 7. And they do have the kicking team on, but again, we've talked about their willingness to go to the trick plays. So you cannot take anything for certain, although the kicker, Dam, will in fact punt it away.
Oh, it's a drive.
And Phillip Brown juggled it, and then fortunately for the Phantoms, was able to haul it in just as he was being hit by Robert Thompson.
That was a line drive.
Yeah, that's right. Damn, Will sure punted away. That's right. I knew someone would have some fun with that young man's last name.
30-yard kick. That was a line drive and hit right in front of Brown. If Brown could have moved up on it and caught that.
Yep. But they had one.
But, you know.
He mishandled. See, that ball, and it was tricky because it was kind of like a knuckler, and it was into the wind. So sometimes those are real hard to read. Back to the live action now as Lewis. And the ball comes loose. Ball came loose. Stafford says they've got it. No official indication yet. And now they say Stafford did recover a fumble. So the second fumble in the second half here by the Phantoms. Phillip Brown coughed one up earlier.
Now how they move the ball way back up towards the 45-yard line if the pile was back at the 49.
Here's the run. You're going to see Lewis spun around and the ball pops loose. Still don't see the ball on the ground yet, but clearly it had come loose. So Stafford, as you see a live picture now, back in business. 1st and 10 in Phoebus territory at the 47-yard line, and he is rolled over. McClellan met by the middle of the line, led by Manny Anderson, number 8. And let's see who's the last man off the pile.
That's
77.
Quest King.
Quest King, big Quest King. We haven't talked about him enough. 6'2", 300 pounds. If you don't say nice things about him, he comes to your house and eats all of your food. So you got to make sure Mr. King is a happy camper.
Yes.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10.
Who's king of this house, right?
Amen. Having a little fun with the young man. This is Sullivan into open territory. DJ Parker, his similar number, is able to haul him down, but not until a 1st down gained by Sullivan, a gain of almost 12.
He went off that weak side, Tim, and watch this. He just pops through the line of scrimmage, and nobody is there except DJ.
You can see how this team averaged almost 300, better than 300 yards per game rushing this year. They're very good on the rushing attack against a very fine defense, the number 1 defense on the Peninsula District, the Phoebus Phantoms. 1st and 10 at the Phoebus 35-yard line. Again, Sullivan gets the call, and he is dragged down from behind, but not until he gets good yardage. That was Travis Richmond who had him around the knees and took him down. But he gained 5.
Travis playing one of those outside linebacker spots for the Phantoms. But that's the same play, Tim.
Yep, it sure was. 3:33 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5 for Stafford.
Well, they're going to the left. The left-handed are going to the left, and they're getting the Phantoms outmanned on that side over there.
Sullivan is in motion. This is McClellan, and McClellan will be stacked up after a very short gain. And the ball came loose. Let's see. I haven't seen an indication, or we can't hear the whistle from this distance. No indication of a fumble recovery, so they'll say his forward progress had been stopped. During the halftime, there was some people asking us about the fumble as to whether the whistle had blown on a fumble in the first half, and of course we can't tell. You know, you see forward progress stopped, and not knowing when the whistle blew, you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the officials on the field. 3rd down and almost 5 at the Phoebus 29-yard line. Another crucial 3rd down here for Stafford. And McClellan is stopped cold.
Nice defensive move that time by one of the defensive ends.
And that is Xavier Adibi who made the stop. He was there and just decked McClellan. Having the kind of game we saw him play last year. Watch this. McClellan is going to get the handoff and just nowhere to go as Adibi fought the block off and took him down.
And that was the key, is he just fought the block off, kept the blocker away from his legs and his body, and made the tackle.
So a crucial 4th down now for the Stafford Indians. They've used one of their 3 timeouts already here.
And they're going to make another one.
Yep,
The coach is very upset.
They're going to have to take the second of 3 timeouts with 1:56 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Phoebus leading 25-7.
Well, at this point, this is one of the places where Mike Hauser to my right here was saying look for the shuffle pass because it's been very successful, especially in this situation when you have 4th and 4 or 5 yards, because you can pick that up on that shuffle pass. So the Phantoms, I'm sure, are going to be talking about this, and that's what upset the coach on the other side, Tim. Pierce was just up beside himself because he knew he had the play call that he wanted, and the formation was wrong or something was wrong, and he had to call the timeout. And you know and I know the coaches lose a little hair and get a little grayer when that happens.
Well, you can see Pierce in the huddle just being livid in his body language. You can see he is exhorting his team, and I'm sure he is saying something like, this is a big play, guys. We're late in the 3rd quarter, and it's 4th down and 5. We have to get this first down, and they really do, because if Phoebus can take it over this time and take time off the clock, they'll pretty much seal this game. But this is a crucial 4th down. Allshouse is your quarterback. Sullivan in motion. The handoff goes to McClellan, and McClellan has got the first down and then some. He's still going all the way down to the 17-yard line.
That was a good call that time, and just straight ahead and used a little power and got a seam. And Sullivan, you can see why he got 2,300 yards this year.
Thomas McClellan showing why he was so successful.
Picked up 11 that time.
First down at the Phoebus 17-yard line. Kevin Sullivan in motion. McClellan gets the call, a yard, maybe 2. As we approach now 1:35 and the clock moving in the 3rd quarter. Phoebus defense has been on the field a lot of this 3rd quarter. They struck quickly after they were able to hold Stafford.
Well,
but Stafford ate up a lot of time on not only this drive but the previous drive.
As what's happening is the
29 yards and 140.
Getting strangled here by Mike. But Phoebus hurt themselves with that fumble.
29 carries, 140 yards for McClellan. Nothing happening in the middle of the line. 3rd down and about 7 for the Stafford Indians again. But again, we're in 4-down territory, so 3rd down doesn't mean a whole lot right here until you get to that 4th down. You know they're going to keep trying for it. They're at the 16, almost the 15-yard line of the Phantoms. Need to get down to the 8. 3rd down and about 7. Under a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. Phoebus trying to repeat as Group AAA Division V state champions. Stafford giving them a handful right now. Kevin Sullivan in motion. McClellan gets the call, and McClellan does not get the first down. He will be well short by about 3, almost 4 yards. Again, a crucial 4th down coming up.
Well, and again, Tim, they went to the left side that time. They picked up the first down coming to the right. This time they went to the left, as you can see, and he just ran into a lot of Phoebus players.
And that will be the final play of the 3rd quarter as time has run out. And we've reached the end of 3 as referee Creasy holds the ball over his head.
And that doesn't mean a jump ball, does it?
Nope, no jump ball. Means that it'll be 4th and about 5. Another crucial 4th down coming up for Stafford as we go into the 4th quarter.
I want to let our fans know that on January the 7th, the Tuesday night, we're going to be over at Phoebus High School for the Kickotan Phoebus Girls Contest, and then followed that by the Kickotan boys versus the Phoebus boys. So that's on the 7th of January, and I'll be getting back on the 6th from the Midwest. So you have everything in place and ready to go. I'll just be able to go, right?
Absolutely.
I have no idea what you're talking about. That's what your next thing was, right?
No idea what you're talking about. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Second half brought to you in part by Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home. They're located at Hampton Center Parkway and Armstead Avenue. Nancy Staten is the manager, and in part by the Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. They're on call 24 hours a day, $45 for emergency service. Mark and Kenny, give them a call at 825-1416 or 850-5564. And, of course, Hampton Chevrolet, Hampton, Chevy, Jeep, Mazda. You new and used cars like a rock. Get the pickups there. 1073 West Mercury Boulevard, 838-5450.
All right, like a rock is the way the defense wants to play on this 4th down and 4 for the Phantoms. Snap goes to Sullivan. Young man wants to throw back against the grain. He does. He completes the pass. This is going to be a touchdown for Stafford. They hit the tight end wide open. No one covered. Number 86, Jay Montgomery.
Well, they rolled to the right and just did a throwback. A great block by one of the defenders that time, and the offensive lineman, and the defender just could not get to him.
12-yard pass. Was that what that was? 4th down, and Stafford comes up with the big play.
They took advantage of a fumble.
They make it a 12-point difference once again. Now they're going to try and make it an 11-point difference. The kick is up. It's long enough, but it is not even long enough. It just faded out. Looked like it was going to be in plenty of length.
And the wind is blowing in that direction, so
yeah.
He really did get underneath it.
Looked like me in a 9-iron.
So Zooms has that Beantown coffee, fried chicken, potato wedges, Krispy Kreme donuts, and you got the pizza, Coke, and that good Citgo gas.
Watch the replay. You watch Sullivan just go back across the field, and no one found Montgomery until he was in the end zone and halfway to the locker room. Sullivan was the young man throwing that ball. So our statistics that we were trying to figure out where these 300 yards were are shared by a multitude of different players. That missed extra point was so important.
Yeah.
Because in high school ball, you can get a 2-point conversion, so you're only 2 scores, but those 2 scores could be a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and a field goal. This kicker for Stafford has 9 field goals on the season, so he's not a stranger to that part of the game. But by missing that extra point, you have to have 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you got to get 2 touchdowns.
Or 3 scores. You've got to have a touchdown and 2 field goals. So it's a very important missed extra point on the part of the Stafford Indians.
And you've got 1 quarter to do it.
All but 6 seconds. On the first play of the 4th quarter, Stafford makes this game again a very interesting contest. They have played well all year. Roger Pierce has done a great job of preparing this team, and they have not come out here to give it up easily as Phoebus went out to a 19-0 lead. We've got an onside kick attempt and a penalty flag down, which will be for offsides. If you're Phoebus, I guess it's a dead ball when they're offsides. I started to say you just grab the ball and fall on it and let them sort it out. But apparently they were offsides.
Well, that's one of the things that the Phantoms were aware of that they do, and they, pooch it. They'll kick along, and then they'll do an onside. But if you look where he's kicking it to, he's got Lewis over there. He's got 28 Seminaro. So we got an all-hands team there for the Phantoms. See, number 11, Darnell Allen is up on the front line. Manny Anderson is just right behind him.
We just want to be aware of the fact you don't want to get over anxious and come up and touch that ball before it goes 10 yards, because if you do, then it's a legal ball to be recovered, but it has to go 10 yards before they can touch the ball, they being the kicking team.
And you can see what's happening right now.
Yep, they're going to end up with again kind of a pooch kick. Fair catch called for and taken by Maurice Boone. Good heads-up play by Boone to just take the ball, and with great field position, the showing his senior thinking, takes the ball at the 45-yard line.
Did you see what happened on the kickoff?
No.
One of the guys over there on that side looked over and kind of yelled at him like he was upset, and then of course that's try to make the defense relax a little bit, and they run the pooch kick, and Phoebus was ready for it.
All right, well, now if you're Phoebus, you want to wind as much of this 11 minutes and 54 seconds off the clock as you can. Elan Lewis is the man to give it to. He's got big yardage and is finally pushed out of bounds, but not until he gets another first down for the Phantoms.
And now before he ran over somebody.
Yes.
I don't know who he ran over, but
5'10", 205. He's still just starting to grow. Watch Lewis, prior to this run, had 181 yards. Got 15 more, so he's real close to that 200-yard mark, something he hit last week against South Lakes, but an entirely different ball game, as Phoebus never in doubt in that game. Stafford's making them think twice about it now as Lewis is stopped for a slight gain. 206 is the number of yards on 19 carries. About 10 yards a carry. Here's your replay. You can see that time they were ready for Lewis. Philip Brown will check out of the ball game for the Phantoms.
And that's Dustin Johnson coming in, Tim. Basically, he brought in to play.
Yep. So you've got Lewis and a DB in the backfield. And you've got the option now. DJ Parker will be tripped up after a gain of about a yard. So the Phantoms now at the Stafford 40-yard line will be looking at 3rd down and 9. Clock moving with 11 minutes exactly remaining in the 4th quarter. Stafford has used 2 of their 3 allotted timeouts, so they just have 1 timeout remaining, which could become a factor if this game is close in the waning moments. DJ Parker under center. Got a man in the slot that's a DB. And the swing pass on the screen to Philip Brown, and Brown will not get the first down.
But I tell you, Tim, he's put Phoebus in a situation where you can line up and give the ball to a DB, and he'll pick it up for you.
Well, you're looking now at 4th down and about 2 as they mark him at the 34-yard line, just inside the 34. They need to get down to the 31, so it's a long 2, almost 3.
Well, they're going to go in that elephant formation, I'll bet.
Well, you're in the territory.
Nope,
First of all,
with
the wind blowing like it is, you're not going to try a field goal. They're going to give it to a DB, and a DB is going to get you a first down at the 30-yard line.
Who you
4 yards.
Who do you give it to?
Well, you give it to the man who knows how to find the blocking, and you've got the offensive line doing the job.
And not only that, Tim, he runs with his shoulders square, and he goes north and south. He doesn't go east and west.
But when you get a chance to name some of those offensive linemen again, Bob, I don't think we can give enough credit to that group of men because they have done an outstanding job. You got a 4th down. You're in a tight ball game, tight at least from the point of view of just a 12-point difference. And you make a hole like that for the big running back, a DB, who gets the call again.
Well, Anthony Robinson, who made All-District, this is his first year at center. Your guards are Xavier Little and Quest King. We talked about Quest earlier. 73, Justin Chetney, and 70, Jason Bowles, who is the winner of the academic award this year. Your tight ends are Matt Wright, who is just a 9th grader, and Darnell Allen, number 11.
Great job by that offensive line. 2nd down and about 8. This is Lewis now who's got the ball. He is inside the 25 to the 24. So the Phantoms keep the ball and, as importantly, continue to wind time off the clock as we are approaching the 9-minute mark of the 4th quarter. Phoebus 25 and Stafford 13. Each team has gotten a touchdown here in the 2nd half. But one of the teams, and that team is Stafford, missed their extra point. DB just follows the pack, and he pushes forward for a first down.
And that looks like a scrum if I've ever seen one.
If you're a rugby player, that's exactly what it looked like, as they just manhandled the Stafford defensive line is exactly what they did. We were remarking during the warm-ups how small Stafford looked, and they've played a lot bigger than they look. But that time you could see that offensive line manhandle Stafford.
Well, they got him back to get underneath them, Tim, and just drive him backwards. And one of the things that they do.
And do it again.
And a lot of credit goes to Greg Day. Greg Day was a lineman, offensively and defensively for Bethel High School. Short, he's only maybe 5'7", and very stocky, and you have to get leverage on the big guys. And this is one thing he knows and he's able to teach these linemen. And Bill D will tell you that a lot of the credit's got to go to him.
To the Phoebus defense, I don't mean the defense part of the team, but they've had 2 big turnovers that left this game open to Stafford, but their offensive line has just done an outstanding job, and they needed to. This is Lewis. He is down close to the goal line. He'll be short at about the 2-yard line. It'll be a 1st and goal for the Phantoms, and leading the blocking was Xavier Adibi.
Timmy, it's amazing to see him go up the middle, up the middle, up the middle, pop it outside, and Lewis almost scores for you. We will pick a player. That was, how many?
9. Got 9 yards.
We will pick a player of the game for the Phantoms. We're going to pick an offensive and defensive player. They will receive a trophy and a shirt. Trophy comes Trophy World, and the shirt comes from Tidewater Team Sports.
1st and goal inside the 5. Xavier Adibi, touchdown.
And that just really kind of puts the monkey right on the back of the Indians. Tim. Now you're talking 3 big scores.
Watch this replay. This is a DB, and he just, again, the offensive line made the holes, and DB is so big. Yep.
Yeah, DB number 5, just a great job.
But we saw the same type of performance last year on this same field, and you saw when they needed the short yardage, DB was the man. They've had Lewis to get the big yardage.
Last year it was Travis McGright getting the big yardage.
Sure was. Jason Mickles' extra point is good. So with that extra point, they make the score now 32-13 in favor of the Phantoms with just 7:45 remaining in the fourth quarter.
I love the scoreboard.
Yep, haven't put the point on it yet, but that's okay.
We know what it is. Let me again talk a little bit about the people that helps us recognize each player of the game. The Trophy World is located in the historic Hilton Village area in Newport News, and for all your recognition award needs, trophies, plaques, custom engraving, contact Bob Hilling at Trophy World at 595-7354. Bob Hilling, by the way, is an uncle to Danny Hilling, a good friend of ours. You mentioned this announcement, and you get special pricing. The shirt comes from the Tidewater Team Sports, your one-stop sports headquarters for screen printing, embroidering, uniform, and apparel. Call 594-0411. Talk to Dave Chubb or Terry McNamara.
7:45 remaining, a 19-point lead once again. The Phantoms raced out to a 19-0 lead before Stafford was able to respond, and they've traded touchdowns ever since. And a big hole up the middle for the Indians. That one returned by number 11, Derek Burton, to about the 36-yard line, where the Indians will set up down by 19. Just 7:39 remaining, and one timeout is all the Indians have. So the Phantoms now will put the game in the hands of that ever consistent defense.
Well, and one thing you got to look at for the Indians, Tim, is they got to score. They got to score quick. So I don't look for them to run the ball a whole lot up the middle. They're going to have to try to get it outside, break one of the plays, or get a pass play, run a something. And here we go, the halfback pass.
And McClellan did not have as much time as he had previously, as he was getting some serious heat.
That looked like
just threw it away.
Travis Richmond, the outside linebacker, Tim.
He just basically threw it away because he had no time and no one to throw it to.
Well, there was somebody down there, but it was about 10 yards short of where the receiver was.
So second down, that stops the clock with 7:34 remaining. And if the Phantoms can get some more time off the clock and hold, it'll be pretty much all over but the shouting. Phantom crowd on hand, enjoying this. The band performed at halftime, did a great job, and they're enjoying this as well. Stafford sets up in their unique formation. Now they've got movement by number 60 left about 3 seconds before the snap of the ball.
And did 82. 82 was on a mission.
Illegal procedure will move them back 5 yards.
And see, that's one of the things that you were talking about earlier, Tim, about if you use these kind of plays and you haven't used them that much, and they are gimmick plays, your team itself can get out of sync.
Yep.
And it showed at that time, and we're going to see it again. They're going to bring.
Yep, that's true. Sometimes the officials don't know how to call them either. This is Sullivan being chased by a DB. And Sullivan does throw incomplete, almost intercepted. A late penalty flag comes down. It might be an illegal receiver downfield.
Yeah.
And it looks like 52 was in downfield, and he's an offensive lineman. Sullivan is going to be chased by a DB, and Sullivan's going to throw it right to a Phantom. Unfortunately, he couldn't come up with the pick.
And that was Maurice Boone, and he's thinking, oh, man, I didn't know he was going to throw it to me. I would have been ready.
It's second down and about 15. If they refuse the penalty, which would be 5 yards, it'll make it 3rd and 15.
Yeah.
Ineligible downfield, and I believe that's what they'll do is they'll refuse the penalty, and what they want to do is get the ball back.
Yeah, that puts them at instead of 2nd and 20, it's 3rd and 15. So, and that's you're taking it down away from them, and that's exactly what you want to do because your defense did what it was supposed to do, played a good job. There was nobody open.
And now Stafford will apparently, yes, they will have to take their final timeout of the second half. So that will be all of their timeouts consumed with 7:26 left in regulation. And Stafford trailing 32-13. The Phantoms trying to repeat for the state championship.
Be one of the only few teams, how many, four
Only
teams?
Four in the last 50 years. Yep. But during the last 10 years, I thought there's very interesting statistics. Peninsula teams in the last 10 years have won this championship 7 times and lost it just once in those 10 years. Obviously, the other 2 times, Peninsula didn't send a representative.
Well, it looks like that the Phantoms are going to be the only team from our part of the area that's going to win today.
San Lafayette looks like they're going
to lose. New Kent County, New Kent High School lost, and they lost big time.
Well, we're real pleased that we were able to bring same-day coverage of this game to the fans on Channel 46. You and I will be hastily returning along with Mr. Mike Hauser.
Well, you know, if we're running low, we just put Mike out on the side and have him push us a little bit and get us. We won't go very far. Let's go. Let's see what's going to happen.
3rd and 15. Sullivan, who's been doing a lot of the passing and running here. Big block put on the Phantoms McWright, but he took the hit in order for someone else to make the tackle. And it'll be 4th and long now for the Indians as they'll mark the progress. Let's see where they mark them out at. Watch this hit. You're going to see a tremendous hit coming up. Boom. I mean, Quincy McWright. Scotty's trying to rush the season. He says McWright should get some free throws for that. No, we're going to be doing basketball on the 7th of January. But that brings up a 4th down and 7 for the Stafford Indians. And again, I've said it on several occasions, but a crucial 4th down once again. Stafford's been able to get the first down on those crucial 4th downs. Let's see how they do this time. Sullivan rolling, looking, has a man open, throws, and it's a one-hopper, incomplete, and the Phantoms will take over at the 39-yard line.
And you can just about turn out the lights.
Yep, stick a fork in someone because this could be the one that the Phantoms needed now to seal this game with 7:07 left.
And the old lady, the fat lady's getting ready to sing.
She's tuning it up.
Tuning her up.
Stafford has no timeouts, so they can't stop the clock.
That's a good point. And I don't look for the Phantoms to do much passing.
No, not when they start at the Stafford 38-yard line. But let's take your hat off to Stafford. They have been in this game. They have fought valiantly for a team who this year won their first playoff game ever as a high school team. Elan Lewis will take the ball, and he will go about 7 yards, stay inbounds, and continue to have that clock run as we go under 7 minutes now.
And that's one of the points, good point to make, Tim, is that he did stay inbounds, wants the clock to run. We're under 7.
And the clock continues to move until the ball is set for play. Now the Phantoms have 25 seconds, which just now have started to run. So if DJ Parker wants to, he can take a little more time coming out of the huddle. There's still 18, 17, 16, and so forth in the game. By the way, Mr. Lewis, 23 carries, 228 yards rushing. This is a DB, and a DB almost broke loose. They'll stop the clock, but only to move the chains as the first down will be marked at the 18-yard line.
And that's that little fake pitch to the outside to Lewis. Watch his fake pitch and then just hand it off to a DB inside. Broke back across the grain, Tim, and almost broke it.
One man grabbed him at the last second. Otherwise, the DB would have had another touchdown. That would have been his 3rd. He has 2 on the afternoon. Lewis has 3.
The DB has 11 carries for 60 yards.
And 2 touchdowns. This is Phillip Brown, and Phillip Brown will get yardage down to about the 14-yard line. So he'll gain about 5. Clock continues to move, 5:43. Second down and about 6 as they mark him short of the 5 yards I had given him, but they'll say he gained 4. Under 5.5 minutes remaining. And a touchdown here would just be frosting on the cake, but right now the Phantoms just want to continue to wear that clock out. And again,
That looked like Maurice Boone. Is that who that was?
I wasn't sure it was even number 4. I'm still trying to pick up the number. Yeah, it was for Boone.
I thought it was Maurice.
I saw the single digit, and I wasn't certain whether it was number 4, but that's who it was.
Watch, look, big old Cross King getting out there in front as a blocker along with Adibi.
So they mark it at the 6-yard line. First and goal. Under 5 minutes remaining for the opportunity to repeat as state champions. Boone gets the call. No, he doesn't. The fake to Boone. The pass. Touchdown. Touchdown. They faked me out. That was Darnell Allen who made the grab for the touchdown.
Yeah, I'm looking where you're looking and saying, where's the ball?
Watch the fake here. DJ Parker still has it. Our camera people didn't lose track of him. And he threw the ball to Allen, number 11. So 38-13, and Mickle will try to make it 39. As the Phantoms have blown this game wide open with just 4:46 remaining. Mickle's kick is long enough, and it is through the uprights. So the Phantoms, who led 19-7 at halftime, have increased that lead to 39-13 on their way to back-to-back championships.
Oh, Scotty.
Do we only wish we could repeat what we just heard from the van?
Oh, man.
I got to write that one down.
That's good.
That one's good, but we
Scotty's
won't.
been waiting all year to say that. All year he's been waiting to say that.
Oh, no, that's too funny. Fans, we apologize for not being able to. Every now and then the gem will be spilled from the lips of our director, and we just can't repeat them all. I love that one. That was a Mad TV line if I ever heard one. Okay.
We can't even come close to topping that.
Nor can we even come close to talking about it. All right, here we go. It wasn't off color. We don't mean it in that sense. It's just something we can't repeat. The Indians with the kickoff out to the 33-yard line, but right about now the Phantom crowd is starting to get up and shake out the stadium blankets and get ready to head for the parking lot, because with 4:39 remaining, Phoebus comfortably on top by the score of 39-13. Carrier 1 divide by 2. That's a 26-point lead, Bob. I don't think Stafford can do it. That's right.
Mike didn't even see this, and that's what he wrote down.
Well, that's it. That was it.
So because we're gonna go this way.
Yep. All's house on the option, a couple of yards. Stafford knows it's all over now. 4.5 minutes remaining. Clock is moving. We will be booking out of here post haste as soon as this game is over with, so we can get the tape back to the studio and our fans can enjoy what we've been bringing them, I hope, for the last couple of hours. It's been a great pleasure to bring football to the Channel 46 audience, and I personally want to wish everyone the best of holidays.
How fortunate are we to be able to go to the state championship game just about every year?
Yeah, it's great. Peninsula has the best in high school football and sports in general. Got the fake play. Sullivan got the direct snap, and he will come up short of a first down. It'll be 3rd down and a yard or so. But again, clock continues to move. 3:45 remaining.
And I tell you, they are using every gimmick, trick play that Coach Parrish has got. And I think he was a little upset on the score, but you can't tell a team not to score.
Oh, are you crazy? Hey, let me tell you something. The way Stafford is playing, you don't give up anything. You keep playing until you hear the final whistle blow. That's already been proven. It looked like the Phantoms might have slacked up a little bit during the first half in the waning moments, and it almost cost them. Well, it did cost them a touchdown. McClellan would appear to have the first down at about the 44-yard line, depending on the spot. I'm pretty sure he's got it, and that's exactly the case. They will stop the clock, move the chains, and with 3:07 remaining, they will restart the clock. And the Phantom celebration will start to begin on the afternoon. DB 11 carries, 60 yards. Lewis 23 for 228 and 31 carries for McClellan, 145 yards for the young man. A valiant effort on one wheel. He has played very well, and seeing him in full ability would be an enjoyment, I'm sure.
It sure would, Tim, and he's carried the ball. They want to get him the ball about 40 times, and he's going to be close to that before this game is over.
Yeah, he's got it 31 times already.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
2.5 minutes. The clock is moving. And our players of the game.
And this is our Trophy World Tidewater Team Sports Players of the Game.
Unlike the award Scotty was talking about.
The offensive player is
Elin Lewis.
And the defensive player, Xavier DB.
Xavier, almost spelled it. McClellan does not get the first down. Brings up 3rd down and 3. As McClellan carries another time, down under 2 minutes remaining, clock moving. So the Phoebus Phantoms will be only the 5th team in the last 50 years, that's 50 years, to be back-to-back champions in football, as they will be the reigning state champions and win their 25th consecutive game.
And we're getting a little water down.
Yeah, I bet someone's about to get wet. Bill D just got a shower, and with that little stubble he had there, he just did a razor out. He could clean himself up before he heads for the bus. So McClellan gets the first down, but it is academic at this point because the only thing to be decided here is what the final score will be. The Phantoms will be your state champions. Clock moving with 1:17, as you see there on your picture. 39-13, and a tremendous effort by this Phoebus team. It's so difficult to win one championship, but then next year when you've got the big target on your back, to try and do it again is an amazing feat. Bill D and his coaching staff and players have just got to be so proud.
There's no doubt about it, Tim, that they've worked hard on the off season. They'll start right away into the weight room and start building for next year. He's going to have a good nucleus coming back next year, especially when you got a runner like Lewis coming back.
Stafford, 2nd down and about 5. They hand off to a couple of new numbers in the backfield. That's number 32, Chambliss. As Roger Pierce, formerly of Heritage High School coaching experience, has taken the Stafford team to the state championships. Our congratulations to him and his team for a superb effort this afternoon, but they were outplayed by this Phoebus team.
And Travis Cordera, number 20, comes in for Manny Anderson.
Halfback pass again. McClellan wants to throw it. He'll throw it downfield. It is incomplete, I believe. Yes, and no time remains on the clock. That is your final play, and the Phantoms are your champions.
Wow. Again, our players of the game on offense. Elin Lewis, and on defense, Xavier DB. Congratulations to the entire Phoebus squad and coaching staff.
We're going to wrap it up very quickly from here. We'll let you see some of the sights. As we do so, as we've mentioned before, in an effort to get this game tape back so the fans can have seen what they just watched. Sounds kind of funny to say you're going to be seeing what you just, never mind.
What's that?
But there you see Bill D has to be a very happy man. I know he is. The hours that are put in by the coaches and the players to get to this championship are just untotaled, and you can't imagine the effort it takes. Well, it's going to wrap it up here. The final score, Phoebus 39, Stafford 13. For Bob Hintz, Bob Killen, Mike Hauser, this is Tim Cole again. We want to wish all of you the best of holidays, but first let me tell you that this game was brought to you by Zooms, with 14 friendly neighborhood stores to serve you. By Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. In part by Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. And in part by Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home at Armstead Avenue in Hampton. Our players of the game, Xavier Adibi on defense and Elin Lewis on offense. For Bob Hintz and the entire crew, this is Tim Cole. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. See you later. Good night, everybody.
Nowhere do you find it in education like you find it in athletics. That teachers are teaching what they want to teach to students who are learning what they want to learn. And both are willing to work hour after hour on their own time after school so that everything that can be taught is taught. And everything that can be learned is learned. One of the primary goals of a secondary education is to prepare young people to be good citizens and winners in life. Much of that preparation takes place in the classroom, but not all of it. Leadership, self-esteem, respect, and teamwork are most often taught outside the classroom through extracurricular athletic and academic activities, like those provided by the Virginia High School League.
Virginia's public high schools, through their alliance as the Virginia High School League, serve their youth by establishing and maintaining standards for student activities and competitions that promote education, personal growth, sportsmanship, leadership, and citizenship.
Each year, about half of all Virginia high school students take part in one or more VHSL activity.
Baseball,
Basketball,
cheer competition,
creative writing,
cross country,
debate,
drama,
field hockey,
football,
forensics,
golf,
gymnastics,
indoor track,
outdoor track,
publications,
scholastic ball,
soccer,
softball,
spelling,
swim and dive,
tennis,
volleyball,
wrestling.
yearbook.
The VHSL is debate and forensics. In fact, the league started in 1913 at the University of Virginia by sponsoring a debate competition for 20 nearby schools. Today, debate, speaking, oral interpretation, and spelling competitions are all sponsored by the league.
The VHSL is theater. The league sponsors a competitive theater festival as a means of evaluating and improving school dramatic performance.
The VHSL is literary activities. The VHSL sponsors competitions for short stories, essays, and poetry, and provides an evaluation service for student publications and workshops for students and advisors.
The VHSL is academic competition. The league sponsors a Scholastic Bowl designed to emphasize students' knowledge of English, math, science, social studies, and current events.
The VHSL is sports. The league sponsors 24 sports which enable students to develop teamwork, discipline, and self-confidence.
Through their involvement in VHSL activities, students grow physically, intellectually, and emotionally. This growth ultimately translates into future successes in college, career, and civic life. According to the American College Testing Service, the primary factor that can be used to predict success later in life is the student's participation in extracurricular activities. Other studies indicate that participation in interscholastic activities results in higher grade point averages, far lower dropout rates, and fewer disciplinary problems. The VHSL serves 150,000 Virginia public high school students in nearly 300 member schools, plus 5,500 game officials and thousands of coaches and advisors. The cost of providing top-rate services to this large constituency totals more than $2.5 million a year, but only about $15 per student served. A true value given the long-term benefits young people derive from involvement in VHSL-sponsored programs.
Historically, playoff gate receipts, registration fees, membership dues, sponsorships, and other revenue sources have offset program costs. Over the years, these sources have grown increasingly inadequate as enrollments in Virginia's public high schools have continued to rise, and the league has added more programs, particularly girls' sports, to accommodate student interest. Since 1970, annual participation in VHSL activities has more than doubled, and yet all of this growth in programs has occurred with minimal growth in revenue.
With the exception of just a few team sports, VHSL activities cost more money to administer than they generate. The league hosts approximately 80 state events each year, with less than 1/4 generating net revenue. Yet each program, whether revenue producing or not, has the ability to inspire students to reach their fullest potential as individuals. Since students have diverse interests, a variety of athletic and academic programs is essential for maintaining strong participation levels. The Virginia High School League faces a critical crossroads with two choices: to turn back or step forward. Turning back means eliminating or reducing programs because the VHSL cannot continue offering its full roster of activities without additional revenue. This course of action is difficult to consider because there is such demonstrated and intrinsic value in what the VHSL does for Virginia's youth.
Given the choice, the VHSL would like to step forward. Therefore, we're embarking on a campaign to generate private support. Phase 1 involves establishing an annual fund to strengthen our existing programs. Phase 2 involves the creation of a multi-million-dollar endowment fund to secure future league programs. Moving forward requires your help. Each contribution is significant. By making a tax-deductible gift to the VHSL, you are investing in Virginia's youth, the same youth who contribute so much to our communities and workplaces.
The Virginia High School League, preparing young people to be winners in life, building better citizens through student activities.